Welcome back to Cook for Victory. My name's Maddie.
And my name is Millie, and tonight we are cooking at Cookery School at Little Portland Street.
And we are here for night number 14 out of 20, cooking some really cool, tasty food, lots of wild, wonderful things, very simple, very easy, and doing it all in an hour. And tonight, it's Friday night, so it's something special.
Yeah, we're making delicious bean burgers, burger buns from scratch, and some lovely veggies to go with that, some nice crudité.
If you have been following along, that means it's another bread night. We're making our burger buns from scratch. So rule number one of bread making is, one, you need to put a bowl of boiling water in your oven to set a little steam chamber, a proving chamber. And then you're going to get your bread ingredients and get ready to use your mussels. I'm the mussels in the team, so I'll be doing the bread. Millie's going to be helping me out. But this one's a little bit different to what we've done. Oh, thanks, Millie, so kind. This bread mix is slightly enriched. So instead of doing our usual 4 ingredients that I talk about a lot, the flour, salt, yeast, we have all those, but we also have eggs, and we have milk, and we have butter. Butter makes it better, makes everything better. All those things just add a little bit of richness, a little bit of depth. It's soft, it's a little bit sweet, a little bit spongy because of the eggs. So all round, just a little bit nicer. So these burger buns are like the ones you might buy in the shops, but you get to make them from scratch this time, therefore they are better and more tastier. So it is similar in a way where it is everything in. So yeast in, salt in, butter will hold back just 1 second because it's going to make my hands really messy. And then our eggs, we are going to do a little one at a time. And we're going to give them a quick whisk just to help me out. And we're also going to be smart
I see.
and save some eggs for our egg wash on top to make them beautiful. So your recipe does say 2 eggs, but we're going to give them a little bit of a whisk because otherwise you have to do it in the bowl and that's not very fun. And then we're going to think about it and just going to keep a really small amount back, and that's going to egg wash the top and make them beautiful. If you forget to do this stage, it's no problems. You can use a little bit of water or a little bit of milk later on, but we are thinking ahead, we're planning, and we're going to come back to that in a tick. Okay, now it's everything in. We've got some warm milk. The warmer, the quicker your bread is going to prove. So all your milk in, and potential you might need more, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how we go. The rest of your eggs in, and of course your butter, nice and soft, so easier for you to mix, all in. And I do try my hardest not to get my hands mucky, but here we are. This is your dough hook for tonight. You are the machine. 1 finger in, and we're just going to mix it all together because the hard work comes after it's all soaked up. Every now and again, depending on the day of the week, you might need a touch more milk or a touch more water if you've gone down to your last little bit of milk. For the most part, 1 cup is usually pretty accurate. It's up to you. For me, I know the butter's going to melt a little bit as I'm kneading it. And in terms of consistency, wetness, sloppiness, I'm really happy with that cup. I think it's going to be a nice tight mix, but not too dry. So it's a little bit sloppy. In terms of liquid, I'm definitely not adding any more in. This is going to be a nice, soft dough. So, if you followed us before, now the hard work comes. You get your mussels out, you get your best friend Jeffrey. This is great service, Mill. You are so good at it.
And this is Jeffrey from Bakery Bits.
Service.
Our special plastic card.
Our best friend from Bakery Bits. Jeffrey's there. You'll see him about when we're chopping, but you'll also see him about when I am about to make an absolute mess of this bench. I actually need Jeffrey back.
Oh, gosh.
Can't live without him. So you're kneading now. So this is, yes, it's mixed together, but we're looking for something that's really springy and has got a bit of tension inside. So for me, this is a sloppy mess. We need at least 4 or 5 minutes of hard kneading for it to become nice and tight. Your kneading can be anything. It can be you're smearing it on the bench, making a real mess or a proper mess. you are doing what our boss Rosalind loves, which is the slam over and over again.
Body slam.
Yeah, body slam. The old slap and fold, that's a classic. Either way, all I want you to be doing is spreading it out and bringing it back together as ferociously as you can. That's a good word. Okay. For aggression. This is not making something springy. This is playing with your food. Oh, that was good.
Do you feel better now?
I do. I feel really good. And if you've had a long week, it's Friday, you need something like this, it should take you 2 minutes. I'm just going to keep on going until I can see it's starting to get bouncier. What is the bounce? So it's gluten. You are slowly but surely making a really strong gluten bond. This should take you at least 2 minutes on the bench. Bare minimum. If you've got a KitchenAid with a hook, congratulations. You're not going to have any muscles tonight. You can put it in the machine and leave it there for 10 minutes. If you're doing it by hand, like I am, there's a simple way to test to see whether you're ready. The first thing is, at the bare minimum, all your ingredients are mixed in. So you can't see any yeast, can't see any egg, can't see any butter. The second test, and you may need, depending on how mucky your hands are, a little bit of flour.
Is that your call for flour?
A-grade service here. So if you've got mucky hands, it's really hard to do this part. So either put a little bit of flour on them or give your hands a quick wash, little sprinkle on your bench, pick your whole baby up, press it out nice and flat, and then you're going to make yourself what looks like, I guess, a dumpling. So stretch it out, stick it to the center, rotate over and over and over again. And what that's doing is creating you a nice tight little ball. Flip it over, everything tucked underneath. And if you can see that springing back, that's perfect. That's your gluten working. And that's the best thing to do for your yeast, which I'll talk about in a tick after this one's gone to sleep in the oven. So for your bread, it needs 2 proofs. The first proof is now in a bowl in the oven that you put that boiling water in. I'm going to bully my dough a little bit so we can get it done in an hour. So I'm going to split it into 2. So it's going to move a little bit faster. It should take, realistically, half an hour. We're going to do maybe 15, 20 minutes. Our oven's pretty warm, but all we're looking for is this little ball to grow and double in size. So we're going to see bubbles from the yeast, and it's going to get up to about here in the bowl. And then we're going to start shaping. So, but for now, these ones are going to go to sleep in that nice warm oven. I'm going to give my hands a very good wash because we always say it, and it might gross you out. Yeast is a fungus that thrives at body temperature. So your oven's not on, it's just got that bowl of boiling water, and that's giving it warmth, and it's giving it water as well. And it should be a little bit steamy. Thank you.
You're welcome. So just a quick sanitize with some antibac or hot soapy water. And then we're going to start with bean burgers. Bean fancy spray. Thank you. Right, so set yourself up. You can grab yourself chopping boards, knives, little rubbish bowl maybe, and if you have one, a Jeffrey.
A Jeffrey.
A clean Jeffrey. No yeasty Jeffreys allowed at this point. So we're going to start, as always, with an onion. So we're going to chop the top off, get ourselves a nice flat surface, get rid of any bits that are trying to run away from you, and then go straight down the middle, keeping the root on. I'm going to try and make this a little bit finer, only because I want it to cook nice and quick. And we're going to manually mash this. We're not going to use a food processor or anything.
So the smaller the better at this stage.
Smaller the quicker it cooks, and the less hard time Maddie's going to have doing mashing later on.
Am I going to be your masher?
In the meantime, Maddie's going to grate a carrot. We've also got some parsley to chop, got a little bit of oregano, got some breadcrumbs and things.
This is just the burger patty. And we do have a special guest, which we'll call up in a little bit once we've got our onions going and we've got our patties on the way. If you don't know, it's Radhika Howard from Radical Kitchen. So while you're at home, you can look at her Instagram. It's really cool. She's just released a new book. She's going to come and help us make the chili sauce, which is very exciting. And I guess talk to her a little bit about food. She loves what we do and we love what she does. We all love cooking at home. But we'll get her up in a tick and it's going to be good, I think.
Yeah. So with my onion, I've just gone about 80% of the way through, but not going through the core or the roots. Very, very important. It just means that when I come to doing my fine dice the other side round, then it's not going to fall apart on me. And we've got these beautiful sharp knives tonight. They are keeping us from crying because they are so, so sharp.
And I'm using another sharp mini knife, i.e. the grater. I think out of everything that happens, we have more people grate their thumbs than we do have cut knives. Almost nobody ever chops themselves with a knife, but they always catch themselves with a grater.
Especially if you do the claw.
Especially if you do the claw like Milia's. That is the finest dicing I have ever seen you do. That is insane.
I've actually just been practicing the last 20 nights.
Fine in both sense of the word as well.
You don't have to do as nearly as fine as we have done tonight, though. You can.
We are going to get this done in an hour.
I'm just feeling quite professional after all this time.
Yeah, it looks very professional.
So we're starting with one onion. The pan is on the hob, but the heat isn't on yet. And just once I've got my second onion in, then we're going to turn up to max power to get lovely crispy golden brown onions.
And I'm just doing a lot of little side jobs. So I've grated the carrots. So these bean burgers are really cool because you can kind of get them from your odds and ends. You've got a tin of beans, you've got some breadcrumbs, you've got some nice herbs kicking about. You can make a really nice, and what tastes and looks really meaty as well, because the aduki beans, which Mel will show you in a tick, they're like dark brown. So it looks quite meaty, it tastes meaty, and it's delicious. And you don't have to be worrying about meat or anything like that. You don't have to go to the butcher. It's all from your pantry.
Yeah, things like carrots are really, really shelf stable as well, so you can keep them in your fridge for feels like forever, but at least a week or two for the most part.
Yeah, and the carrot it's good, it's delicious, but it also keeps them moist. A lot of old cakes have that grated carrot in there to keep them moist, and this is no different. The herbs I've got tonight, I've got some really nice fresh oregano. It looks like a little flower, which is absolutely lovely, so I'm going to give that a really good chop, again as small as we can because we're mashing it by hand. I'm just taking off all the leaves, and I'm going to do the same with the parsley as well.
Alright, so now I've got all my onions in the pot. I'm going to do what we've done the last...
We're on 14.
40. The last nights where we've been having our oil in the pots, you could use olive oil if you want to. We're just going to use some rapeseed oil tonight. We're going to have lots and lots of flavour going on. Off the heat with a big pinch of salt to draw the water out. That's all it's doing. And now I'm going to crank it up to max power.
Max power.
So if I keep on stirring this, I'm kind of going to be stir frying it. It won't ever have a chance to sit on the bottom of the pot and get really brown. So I'm using a decent amount of olive oil to start, or rapeseed oil, and then I'm also not touching it too much. That's the secret to very brown onions. I've also got a little jug of water on the side, just in case it starts to get too dark. I can add a splash of water and just dissolve all the browning off the bottom before it burns. And I've just been handed the garlic cloves, so I think that's my prompt.
It's like reverse now. I'm your agent.
So I'm going to trim off the bottom, give it a quick whack with the strong part of my hand. So the same part that Maddie uses for kneading is what I use for bashing garlic cloves. And it should peel very, very easily after that. And you can chop it with your knife, or if you have a garlic crusher, you can use one of those as well, pretty handy. And if you're doing this in a food processor, you've basically got no work to do at all. Yeah, you can just throw this in, very roughly chopped or even crushed. So I'm going to put mine in here, keep it on the side of my board. Actually, I'll put it in here. So we've got a little bowl building up of all our lovely ingredients.
And I'm just doing a very a hand on top of knife, back and forth kind of pizza cut or a rock cut, just to make everything a little bit smaller, and then when I need to regather, just putting it all together with Jeffrey, if you got it, or your hands, just keeping the knife out of your hands way.
So I can smell the onions. However, they're not even brown remotely on the bottom. It is completely clean. It just looks like stainless steel. So I'm not even going to touch them. I just gave them a quick little whiz around so I could see what was going on. It's also very steamy, so it would be hard to see either way. But I'm going to be using my nose and my ears so I can see how it's going on without even having to look at it. So if I can hear high-pitched frying, usually means it's going nice and fast.
Sometimes it starts to spit, and that's the onions calling you.
All right. They're saying right now. If it's a wet, bubbly noise, of course, it means there's lots and lots of water and it's not going to be doing anything very fast. So I'm going to get a big bowl we can begin to assemble our mix and also mash up our aduki beans. If you can't find them, you could use black beans or something like.
Even a chickpea would work.
Yeah.
So it just needs
A
to be
little
quite
starchy.
firm starch bean or pulse. We've got most of our ingredients kind of ready to go. So we've got our grated carrots, plenty of herbs, got the parsley, oregano, garlic in here as well. We've got an egg to combine and bind it. A good pinch of salt, or a good teaspoon of salt.
So we've got some nice organic aduki beans, but of course you can use a couple of different ones depending on what you have around. I've just drained them and given them a very, very good rinse. So into the bowl they go, and I'm going to send these to my friend Maddie while I check on my onions.
I'm back.
You're back. All right, onions.
For
I can
all the
smell
help you
them.
gave me with my bread.
Delicious and caramelized, but caramelizing in a different sort of way, whether they're on bottom of the pan or the top. So a big splash of water. And you should forget about them. That's how they get nice and brown quite quickly. So all of that water is just dissolved off. All the colour on the bottom has just dissolved off. And now I'm going to put it back on the heat, boil that water off. And actually, after that's happened, it should be pretty close. Ah, very nice.
In terms of your mashing, you want something that's not, you don't want to go too far, basically. You want to have a few bigger bits, so like half kind of beans and stuff, and then a good kind of puree that's going to help to hold it together. You don't want to turn it to complete liquid or complete mush. So if you are doing this in a food processor, you're just using your pulse very, very lightly.
I think you're there actually.
Yeah, I think you wouldn't want to go, you can see it's choppy here. You don't want to go too far. You don't want to have liquid beans. You want something that's got a little bit of texture to it.
Brilliant, right. So we are done with our mash now. Now we're just going to be gently mixing just to make sure we don't over process it and make it too fine.
We've got all our other ingredients.
The chopped oregano, chopped parsley, we've got our roughly grated carrots. We have got an egg to bind, some breadcrumbs as well to bind. The starch in the beans will also help it all stick together. Got a good bit of salt. We've got some unsalted beans, we've got an egg, lots of carrots and things. So you need seasoning to make this delicious. I think that's why often veggie bugs are so disappointing, is because they really lack the deliciousness from our from seasoning. And we're also going to add a dash of Tabasco and then our fried onions, which is kind of like the backbone of flavour in this kitchen. Thank you. So it doesn't need to be spicy, but just a little bit of extra vinegar from the Tabasco, a little kick of heat is quite nice. So I'm going to give this a mix. Since it's got a raw egg in it, you can't really taste it, but you could always mix it up without the egg and then have a little taste if you're unsure about seasoning. But usually a teaspoon is pretty bang on.
And this is pretty scalable as well. So we've done one tin of beans with all these ingredients. We've done that pinch of salt. This will make 6 kind of hearty burgers or 8 slightly smaller patties. If you want plenty, just make more. These are really good and kind of cheap, I guess, to get through. And you don't have to worry about the meat or anything like that. They make plenty and they're very filling.
So I'm just mixing it. It's starting to bind. And the onions are looking good. It does seem like a fair bit of oil in the onions, but it's going to flavour the whole burger very, very well and keep them nice and moist.
In terms of colour, they're not too far off.
Not too far off.
Because you cut them so small, so
small.
professionally.
Such an overachiever.
I know. So impressed. I'm actually going to, like 1 more minute, Mill, and they'll be done.
Yeah, not too far off.
Almost like deep frying in there. Look, they've changed colour just in the time we've been talking. Pretty good.
So you do save yourself a lot of time in terms of frying if you do cut things smaller. So yes, you could do them really chunky, especially if you're processing them with like a pulse blender or something, but they just fry much quicker if you do it like this. So for me, a little bit preferable. So we're just going to wait on this to go.
We are baking these, so you can pan fry them. They're a little bit fragile. These are going to go into a nice hot oven. We're going to get a tray, a good amount of oil on the tray. A good amount of oil to help them not stick, thank you. And then we'll put a bit of oil before they go in the oven as well. So I'm going to turn the oven on 200 to 220. We're working fast tonight, so we're going to go 220. But it's just basically crisp, and the inside, the beans are cooked. We're just looking to kind of set our egg, have everything soak up,
and
keep the moisture inside.
All right, these are lovely and golden brown. I'm actually just going to add a splash of water to them because they've got so much heat in them that I don't want them to just bubble over. just to take the heat off them. But they are perfect now. So I'm going to pop them into my fairly dry looking mix at this point.
Yeah, so that extra oil that's in with the onions is also like an ingredient for the mix. And I'm going to just continue to give them a bit of a toss about.
Then we're going to do some shaping, pop them on tray to bake, a little extra oil on top. And that is the start of our bean burgers.
We're not mashing them too much because we have got the consistency mostly that we want. We're just going, I got a little old cut and fold, a loose one. In terms of what you're looking for the burgers, if you can smear it like that and have it stay, that's pretty good. So when we use our hands to shape them, it's going to hold really, really well.
I reckon we can get 6 good ones out of this. We'll see how we go. You can always top them up as you go. So I'll go roughly in half. Let me spread out. I'm not very good at dividing things.
I was just going to dig straight in, so I like your accuracy.
Accurate to a fault, that's fine.
Accurate to a fault.
That's my middle name.
I'm going to use my hands and I'm going to make a little, is it a good big patty? Yeah.
So we're going to go a little on the flatter side. I'm just doing this more to portion them, and then add a little bit of oil or even a little bit of water on your hands. It's very, very handy to stop them from sticking because they're a little on the tacky side. And already they're looking kind of somewhat meat-like.
Beautiful. I love them. We're going to make them genuinely like a patty, so not too high, quite kind of on the low side. I don't know what that is, like 1.5 centimeters-ish. Could be a bit bigger.
Oh no, I think that's good.
Okay.
They spread just a touch in the oven. And ideally, your burger buns will grow in size, so
yeah,
if you want to be really particular about it, you can match up the size, but
8 slightly smaller
still be
ones,
delicious.
but we're going to have about 7 medium ones. Yeah, that looks good.
And to be honest, if you have just a tiny bit mix left and it's not enough to make another burger, you're just going to make up the difference between any ones which are looking a little bit baby. I think we should do that, to be honest. That one's looking a little bit small, so is that one.
Oh, you're going to be generous.
Oh.
It is exactly 1 more patty.
Okay, you go for it.
7 medium patties. And one of them is a little bit bigger because I'm not very good at dividing.
Nor am I, it's funny.
And they do look quite meaty. They have that, like, I don't know, pinky hue to them. So we've got a good amount of oil underneath. We've pressed them together. We're going to put a good amount of oil on top and get them into that. And I'm just going to, just a nice little drizzle. This is going to help a little bit of crispiness. That was a good job. Just to let them shine on top. We'll give them a flip just so they get both the crispiness on both sides. I'm going to say 15 minutes on a nice hot oven, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, depending on your oven. But these are good to go in. If you
Lovely.
Don't mind grabbing them because I got my
Of course. So in the oven they go. So they are going to crisp up, and they need to be set on both sides. So I will probably turn them over about 3/4 of the way through their time in the oven. But in they go, nice and hot. All right. My oven is not quite there yet. I'm just going to give it another 5 minutes to warm up, and then they can go in.
Which is a great time to bring on Radhika. So
Come on, please join us.
I gave a brief introduction earlier, but Radhika works for Radical Kitchen. I'll let you slide along here. So I guess you can do the introducing. Welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you. I've just enjoyed watching, and that looks so delicious. So I'm Radhika from Radical Kitchen. It's with a K, not with a C.
Yes.
Radical Kitchen. I love food, I love cooking, and I love eating, and I love feeding.
Amazing.
And
so, in terms of your type of cooking, we're doing burgers tonight, but what's your specialty?
I do a bit of everything. I grew up in India. I'm Indian, but I've lived in this country for 30 years. So I would say I cook a lot of Indian, but very simple, vegetarian, Indian, home-cooked food. Not the kind you would get in the restaurants.
Yes.
Nothing from containers and boxes. But I also do things like the veggie burgers, a lot of stir fries, salads, yeah.
And using all good, simple ingredients, right? And it's
Simple
good
ingredients.
food.
I just like to keep buy what I need, use it, and then go and get more. You know,
Clever.
simple and
No waste.
yeah.
So,
Happy cooking and yeah.
yes.
Okay, what are we
actually,
doing?
Millie's going to run you through this because she's the professional
Yes.
chili
I will,
sauce
right, so you
maker.
are going to be my hands for tonight. So we're going to
Yes.
start with, we're going to peel an onion. You can chop it on the fine side, but it doesn't need to be too beautiful.
Okay, you will tell me what to do.
So you
yeah?
can start by taking the top off,
Okay.
and then you got it on its flat edge.
Yeah.
So if you're dicing, you should keep this bit on.
Okay. So should I just?
So keep it flat, and then you can either have your hand on top or as a little arch. And then once it's sort of firmly in, you can then push down. Lovely, and you're going to peel that for me.
Okay.
The other things we've got in our chili sauce, we've got a little bit of pepper, some sort of mild red chili. So it's going to provide a lot of the body and amazing colour, and that's obviously going to come with the heat. Then we've got some ketchup for a little sweet and sour, again, lovely red colour. We've got some rapeseed oil, because this is going to be a raw blended sauce that we'll then cook just to mellow out the sort of harshness of the raw onion. A little sugar and a little vinegar to balance, and then some salts to balance everything out in total. So you can just do a very rough chop.
Is this for?
And you can pop them straight in here. So we're going to be blending ours tonight with a hand blender, but if you are feeling really, really good.
I was seeing you chop.
Yeah.
So you did this.
Oh, well, I used to do that, and then one day I cut myself, so I stopped doing it that way.
Should I just do
You see
it?
that scar I've got on my
I just do it
Yeah, but just avoid the root.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, look at that.
Very nice.
Do you cook at home? Gosh, you can tell.
I cook every day. I cook every day from scratch.
Gorgeous.
That's the way we've been brought
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
So cooking from home,
And
simple
so-
food.
Yeah, and this is our red chili sauce. And hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as we do. Way better than buying it from the shops.
Yeah. But you're putting a red pepper. This is really exciting. So
We are. So it's basically like a sweet chili sauce, just like a nice simple accompaniment. And because it has been cooked and it will have a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of sugar, it has a slightly longer shelf life as well. So we are going to be popping everything in here. So as soon as you're done with your onion, you can pop it straight into this big jug.
Okay. Jeffrey.
You're my friend Jeffrey. He is pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
That looks, yeah, Jeffrey's our best friend. He matches our sweet chili sauce.
Yeah.
Oh, and I've just, our oven came up to temperature, so I have just popped our bean burgers in at that nice high temperature, 220.
Oh, lovely. Thank you
To
very
get them
much.
going, get them cooking, so we can get it all done in an hour.
So the next thing I'm going to get you to do is
Yes.
to finely chop this chili.
Okay.
But you can just take off the top and peel out all the seeds and stuff. We don't want it to be like knock your socks off hot.
Yeah.
But just a little bit of heat is quite nice, especially with the bean burger. We've already got a little bit of Tabasco in there.
Do you want me to keep the chilies or?
You can take out the little
I
seeds.
can take out the
This
seeds,
is
yeah.
They might be a little bit hot. And then I'm going to start to core and de-seed my red pepper, which is basically a slightly scaled up version of our red chili. So I'm going to cut just either side of the core. And I do this because I want to keep everything stuck in here. So that's now totally de-seeded. If I do the same over here. Again, I've missed the seeds. Yeah, all in there. Thank you. And then you'll end up with most of the seeds stuck in here, and I can just chop this off, and that is all my waste, but it's sort of nothing really that I want to eat. Do you want to do this as well?
Chop?
Yeah, just roughly, but on the small side.
Okay.
So because we are using a stick
this
blender,
okay?
we want it to be small enough that our
Okay.
blender can get in there and chop everything up, but not so big that it's going to cause a bit of a nightmare for it.
Okay. Is this all right?
Yeah, perfect.
Right.
If you've got a NutriBullet or something, this is a good point to
Easy peasy.
bring it out.
Or you can practice your knife skills. And
Or you can
chop
practice your knife
everything really, really tiny.
You could even use a grater or something, I reckon, for most of these things, if you wanted to quite a lot. But it would work.
It would work.
It would. And now you can put in the oil, the ketchup, the salt,
So what is this? This is
just a little bit of rapeseed oil, so it's going to help it cook along the way.
Just a little bit, or
You can pour it all
pour
in.
it all? Yeah.
Go for it.
So that's the oil.
You can put some of the salt in.
Okay.
We're going to season to taste, so maybe we need more, but we'll start with about, you can say like half-ish.
Cook it and make it a bit jammy.
And then
And
all the
that's-
sugar, we've got some ketchup and a little bit of apple cider vinegar or white wine vinegar, just something a little bit tart to, yeah, a little sweet and sour.
Yum, yum, yum. Okay, that's the vinegar, all of it?
All of it.
And we've got a little extra vinegar and a little extra sugar on the side as well, just in case we need
All
it.
that's all the sugar as well.
All the
Go for
sugar?
it. Yeah.
So it's going to be sweet, sour,
Sweet and
tangy.
sour,
Yeah.
a little spicy, hopefully.
Yep.
And now we're going to blend all of this together with our stick blender. So I'm just going to send you over here.
Okay.
So we've got like a little immersion blender. So
Okay.
if you use this bit, that's our double power one, and just make sure it's all the way down before you start blending. And that's basically it for our chopping, apart from our crudité later on.
Lovely.
Very nice. It'll just take a minute to get through all of our bits and pieces.
So now is a good time. Over the shout. What do you love about cooking at home?
Because you know what ingredients you're using. So, and I don't, it's healthy food. And by healthy, every time I talk to people about healthy, they think of broccoli.
Yes,
No.
salads
No,
and-
it's
yeah.
not. Home cooking is healthy because you choose your ingredients. So I love cooking it, and because it's really delicious and you can kind of modify it according to your taste. And I find it very relaxing. It's very customizable. It's I don't waste anything, so.
And I think you're less likely to waste something that you've made as well, because you've
Invested,
put all that love into it, and you've spent so long like putting it together. You would never ever make a ton and throw some in the bin. You have to eat all of it, and you know that it tastes good, even better.
And also, say if I'm using.
If you tilt it like this, you'll get all the way to.
We've chosen a very good glass jug.
So we want it fairly smooth, just so it doesn't cook down nicely.
Yeah.
This one's gonna get really nice and jammy. Actually, this is like it's a good sauce.
It will start out looking very, very orange. That's only because we've whipped lots of air into it. And as we cook it, the air will just be pushed out, and then it will turn nice and red again.
Do you want to?
No, that looks good.
Yeah,
I think that's
you want to just
beautiful.
Want to give your magic touch to finish it?
No. I'm sure it's perfect.
No. This is all easy business.
Yeah. You know, the other thing I was saying, cooking at home, it's versatile. So if I get a red pepper or 2 red peppers, I can do like an Indian stir fry or a jalfrezi today, but then I can do a sauce tomorrow. So, you can just use it in so many different ways.
Yeah, we always love to use what you got.
Yes.
Also, what's in season, what's on sale, what's looking sad in
What's
your
in
fridge,
bulk.
what's in bulk, what can you get more of?
Yeah, and I have started, and that's how we grew up in India. We would just my mother would buy what we needed for the day or for 2 days. Not doing this weekly shopping with trolleys full, because
It can feel very overwhelming.
Daunting.
Yes, even just planning, even trying to think about planning for a week is very, very daunting.
difficult, and also we don't know how long it's been on the shelf, and then you're going to leave it for another 5 days at home. So
And just so
it's
easy
fresh.
to forget about things when there's lots of it
It
piling
is,
up.
particularly when you've got a big pile. You forget what's on the bottom, and you only use what's on the
So
top.
it's avoiding wastage. It's eating healthy. It's eating delicious food, and I think good food is good mood.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
My partner's family is really good at cooking, just the exact amount for the exact amount of people that they have, and I think that is the most exceptional skill. We batch cook a lot, we talk about
We
what
do,
freeze and
yeah.
stuff, but I think if you can cook the exact amount, it means you get fresh food every single day, which is really awesome. Oh, look at
Bubbling
that.
away. All right, so even in that short time, I was saying it went from that kind of pinky orange color.
let's have a look.
It's starting to go a darker orange,
Oh, that was so quick. Oh, that's the oil. I was so shocked. I was like, oh my gosh.
but also all the oxygen from blending it is basically being pushed out. So this will continue to darken in color. So it will look a little weird at first, a little frothy and pale, but it will continue to cook and the flavor will just develop. And we can have a little taste now if you want.
Okay.
Basically making my point that it doesn't taste amazing at this point, but we will continue seasoning it and making it better and better and better until we got the most delicious.
We can
So you keep tasting and then
Keep tasting and adjusting.
the seasoning.
again.
And we want
personalise.
to make sure that all the onion flavour is mellowed and kind of cooked out.
Tastes like raw onion, but it actually is quite sweet already without even cooking the sugar at all. It's got kind of like that natural sweetness to it.
And that was a very small amount of sugar to
It's
start.
pretty. It's pretty
Actually,
yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty close.
Yeah.
I think it will sweeten as you cook it down, and maybe a pinch of salt. But that's pretty bang on for me. Like it's not bad at all.
And if you're unsure about seasoning with this, it is going to go on a burger. It's going to be diluted. It's a condiment at the end of the day.
Yeah, so
and they're
don't
often
be-
quite sour, quite sweet. They're full on. They're not meant to be like a mild wallflower.
You're not supposed to eat it like soup.
Yeah.
It's just like just a nice little spread,
Brilliant. So it's just going to tick over.
We're gonna leave it be. Shall we do our shaping or crudités?
I think we can do some shaping. So, do you feel like doing a little bit of
Do you
bread?
feel like doing a little bit of
Or
bread?
do you want to have a glass of wine? How
You
are
wanna
you?
have-
I'll have a
Your
glass
face
of
says
wine.
Glass of wine.
Your face
Your
says
face says wine.
And I'll be back.
Okay, Radhika's
Lovely.
gonna come back once we put our burgers together right at the end. Enjoy the best of
respect
it. Enjoy, but thank you for helping
you.
us.
Thank you
And
so
you
much
can
for joining
come
us. You can try this when it's settled.
Alright. We did split our babies into 2. That means, Millie, that you are also going to be dividing.
That's fine, I can do that. I actually quite like to.
So this recipe is going to make 12 small, 10 good
that's
size,
why you
or
said
8 kind of monsters. So we've done ourselves a dirty, and we're going to have to divide each of these into 5, which we say all the time is probably the hardest one to divide it into. So 10 is a good size. Our patties were about like this big, and so if you do 10 burger buns, they'll be about that size as well. If you make 12, they'll be a little bit smaller, and if you make 8, they'll be like a really big burger bun. So it's whatever you're making at home. If your patties are a little bit bigger as well, you could make a bigger bun.
Maddie's laughing because I can't divide things into 5. So.
No, you can. You've learnt.
I've learned.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put a little bit of flour on top, so just when I pop it out, it's not going to stick straight to my bench. There we
I
go.
was going to slop it straight out.
All right.
This, if you've been doing the bread with us previously, this is actually going to be a little bit easier because it's got butter inside. It actually makes it less sticky to your hands, which is kind of nice.
So we're going to go in, degassed, so just pushing out all these big bubbles.
Yeah, now is not a time to be gentle. And for me, the easiest way I can cut 5, and it might be different for you. You could do like a pizza and cut a 5 triangles in your pizza. For me, I always make a sausage or a log or something because I think that's the easiest way to cut 5 roughly even pieces. So cut the middle out and then 2 ends. Yeah, it's all right. If you've got, like me, you've got one big one and one slightly smaller one, you can always donate a bit of dough. They don't have to be the exact same. This is not a commercial bakery. This is just home cooking. So they have to be roughly related. They have to cook at the same time.
Sisters, not twins, you know?
But exactly, yeah. Roughly related. They can be cousins. They don't have to be twins. All roughly the same size. And then we're going to do 2 types of shaping. We're going to do a quick pre-shape, which is flattening it out, just like we did at the start, actually, to check how bouncy it was. Ping it to the center, pin, pull and pin until you've got something that looks like
Beautiful little dumpling.
a little dumpling, and that's going to be the bottom of your bun. If you've been practicing bread and you see yourself as a baker, you can do a very rough pre-shape, which is kind of just tucking everything under. 1, 2. If you're just starting out, that push down and pulling into the center is what everything is all about. This is just like a slightly easier way to get there. All the while, what we're trying to do is create, this is your bottom, it's got all your ugly odds and ends tucked in, and that's your nice smooth top. So each of these has a smooth top and an ugly bottom. I just said that out loud, I know.
I say that all the time, pinch the bottom. I always regret it as well. There we go. Shapes.
And then we've done all our pre-shapes, and so now we go through and we make them perfect. So if you're doing our dinner roll like we had on day 3, you're going to have a nice, really, really perfect round, which is you get your second shape like this. You can undercut and make it nice, but because these are burger buns, we're going to get them a little bit flatter, and that because we've got a flat patty, and these don't need to be a perfect kind of dome. We want them to be kind of a little bit flatter so we can fit all our salad and stuff. So you're still going to do that nice kind of tight circle, either like this, or you're feeling like you're a professional baker, you've done bread 1,000 times with me, and you're saying, Maddie, give me a challenge. You're going to use your bench. You're going to get rid of all your excess flour, and you're going to smear your dough against the bench, but all the while you're attempting to do this, but using one hand. Pull towards yourself, and then push away in a circular motion, and make it tight, tight, tight. And then of course it's a burger bun. At this stage, you can be mean. There's no bubbles in there. We're going to get bubbles now. Flat, very nice. And then after you've done this, what you feel like a million times, you can go 2 hands. No, I'm joking. That's for later days. So we've got 10 beautiful, beautiful, slightly flattened burger buns. These are looking really nice.
Super even.
Yeah, and if you can see, is that a joke? No.
We had different halves to start with, so they're somewhere in.
Okay, so we've got some beautiful, nice, slightly flattened burger buns. If you flatten them quite a lot, they will still rise. So we did our first proof in the bowl. That's called your bulk proof or your first ferment or a bulk fermentation. It basically means you're proving it in a whole dough.
I'm going to get this in the oven.
Is our second proof.
So I'm just going to put these in the bulk prover. You can see I've got these in these sort of diagonal rows just to help them prove nice and evenly. But because we are
doing this all in an hour, start to finish,
we get them in now.
Yeah, we're going to, we talk about bullying a lot. We're going to bully them a little bit so that we can show you hopefully what they look like when they're baked within the hour, even try and get our burgers together. We'll see. So your second proof is still in your off oven with that bowl of boiling water at the bottom. If you have your burger beans in your oven, you can always put a really warm tea towel, wet tea towel.
Burger buns.
Burger buns.
Bean burgers.
bean burgers in the oven.
That is Friday.
You can always put a wet tea towel on top and they will start to prove there.
Right, so once again, quick sanitize, give your hands a really, really thorough wash. Get rid of anything that is left on your hands, all that yeast.
So we have...
Last one.
Thanks, ma'am. Gonna have a quick look at our bean burgers, see what they look like, give them a flip. Squeeze them one.
Oh, they look good.
They look good. So they've taken a bit of colour. They have spread a bit, which Mill did say would happen. I'm just going to check to see if they can handle a flip, or if not, hey, look at that. So that's got a nice golden bottom. So I'm going to give them all a quick flip to get crispy on both sides. And that oil on the top and the bottom is what's making them nice and crispy. That will be mine, I guess.
It's like a baker's dozen, but it's
could use
half a
another
baker's
5 for
dozen.
the flip, but here we are. So these ones, again, they're not too far. The egg is really the only thing that needs to cook properly. So in terms of like, is it ready to eat? Yeah, it's ready to eat, but we want it crispy on top and crispy on the bottom, and we want them to be a little bit more structurally sound so that we can fit them in our burger. So these ones are going to go in for another 10. And then we are going to get a little crudité going. There's a little bit of a healthy side for our burgers.
Compared to a meat-based burger, though, these will never be quite as strong. They've not got lots and lots of protein holding them together. So they are on the soft side. That's part of their nature. So don't be worried. If they are a little fragile, that is how they're supposed to be.
But they are no less delicious.
Yes, absolutely. Right, chopping time.
Chopping time. Back to the chop. The daily chop.
So we can just use the same chopping boards we were using before. With our chili sauce, it's been simmering for at least 5 minutes, probably closer to 10 now. And it's turned this bright orange colour. It's no longer looking very foamy and frothy, which just means all the oxygen's being pushed out as it's cooking. And we're going to have a little taste and see how the flavour is, because hopefully it's not going to taste like raw onion anymore. Where's our tasting spoons gone?
I put them away, I'm sorry.
So as that water has evaporated off while it's cooking, it's okay if it's a little on the strong side because it is a condiment. It shouldn't be very, very weak. You want to have some as well?
That colour has gone fully bright. It's actually like fluorescent orange at the moment.
It is very bright.
It is very bright, very beautiful. It's not quite gone, it's not thickened yet, like it's still quite watery. So we're going to take a nice jammy. And am I going to taste it?
Yeah, if you want. I don't know how it started because I actually forgot. Sorry.
Yeah, it's good.
I think definitely more sugar, more salt. But we're going to season this towards the very end, just once it's cooked properly. So I'm going to pop it back just to keep on cooking. And now we're going to make some crudité.
What is crudité, Millie?
What a great question. So crudité is just a selection of raw veggies that are sort of in little matchsticks or batons.
What would you like?
I would like a celery edge. Oh.
I've got a nice carrot. I'm going to peel it and chop it into these magic buttons.
So I'm just going to trim my cucumber. We're starting with a half. To be honest, you can have one of everything and it'll just multiply. But anything that you can eat raw, like peppers is lovely.
Celery.
But like mild, crunchy things. So you wouldn't do a chili, but a red pepper is lovely. I'm going to go in half my crudité. And then I'm going to scoop out the seeds just so they stay nice and dry. But you could also keep the seeds in if you're not.
I'm going in half of my carrot just because it's only just longer than my knife, which means it's going to be a little bit hard to control. We don't want them floppy. They are supposed to be quite crispy. So depending on how much you like, you can go half and half. And then I'm going to do small thirds, I guess, so on a slight angle. For me, I don't love really, really thick carrot. I find it a lot easier to eat when it's like thin. And that's my personal preference. If you love big chunks of carrot, go for it.
And this is just your suggestion of vegetable for the night. Keep you feeling healthy.
Yeah, and it's also quite quick. So if you're doing something that's really labour intensive, like we've got our burger buns going, we've got our sauce, we've got the patties. This is very simple, a simple side. So you don't need to cook anything. You're not steaming. You're not doing anything like that.
Yeah, so I have kept my hand on top of the knife, or to be honest, one of my favourite things to do is just have my fingers out of the way, but they are stabilising whatever I'm cutting, and my knife is going between.
I like that
one
as well.
So that one feels nice and safe for me. Or you can do the claw, have them tucked right the way back. That is also perfectly acceptable. But you're just going for let's say centimetre pieces or something that you can just have a little nibble on, nice little snack.
If you're doing this a little bit in advance, they're very prone to drying out, so you can always sit them in a nice bowl of water in your fridge and just drain them off before you serve them as well.
So once again, just scooping out all those seeds. Ooh, you get a nice cucumber facial. It's flashing me.
For the celery, I think use the freshest celery. If you've got old celery, do
floppy
not use
celery.
it for crudité. It's not the right thing to be using it for. But I am going to do the same thing. I'm even going to attempt maybe thirds, halves. Again, just aiming for roughly 1 centimetre. I'm going to go probably into 3 in my big pieces, and then in half. It's supposed to be a quick, easy job.
And if you do have pepper, it's lovely. It's got very good colour. So you're just aiming for a nice selection of different veggies that are bright and fresh and crunchy, crispy. A little bit sweet is also nice. Right, that's our crudité done.
Looks beautiful. So that's our beautiful side to go with our burgers. So we've got our burger buns, we've got our burger patties, we've got some sweet chili sauce. We do have, if you want on your burger something that isn't just the patty and your chili sauce, we've got some mayo, we've got a little bit of lettuce, you've got a little bit of tomato, layer it up, make it nice and high, fill it with all the goody goodness. But for us, we've just got our burger buns. We're going to have a look. They can use a little bit longer. We're almost there though.
So they haven't been in for very long, but we're looking for them to just under double in size. So if I give them a little shake, they're not doing very much, which means they need a little bit more time. And if I press them as well, they are kind of leaving this indent, which means they've not re-puffed up with lots of gas from the yeast doing its job. So they just need a little bit more time, which is fine.
We're going to give them a few more minutes and they're going to go in no matter what. In terms of your bread, if you're doing this at home, good job, fantastic. Homemade bread is always going to be better. One, because you made it, that's rule number 1. But if you are doing bread at home, it can take a little bit longer. So it can always prove in the bowl. So after you've mixed it, it can always prove in the bowl a little bit longer. It should double in size. And at this stage, we're bullying them today. We're going to put them in. Yeah, we're going to put them in really high oven. They're going to be a little bit underproofed. But if you've got the time and you want something a little bit lighter and fluffier, they should also double in size once you shape them into those balls. So they should grow and they should be really light and fluffy before they go in the oven. We're going to kind of bake them no matter what. But if you've got the extra time, give them maybe half an hour if you can, as opposed to the 10 or 15 minutes that we've done. And if you can, yeah, a nice hot oven, get them growing nice and steady. We're going to make ours beautiful. We've got our egg wash and our poppy seeds. So you don't want to go too far on the size. I didn't talk about overproving too much. So this is a quick yeast. So it is supposed to be done quickly, which means you don't want to be leaving it in the bowl for like hours and hours. Maybe depending on the temperature of your water, it's going to be up to an hour or so, something like that. And same on the other side. So you've got your beautiful rolls. You're wondering how long to prove them for. You want to go up to double in size, but anything over that is it's too much proving. Your bubbles are too big. Your yeast is eating all your sugars. It's not tasting very nice, but also what tends to happen is they're very fragile. As soon as you touch them, they just go, because the bubbles are getting like massive. You want lots of kind of small to medium bubbles, not huge bubbles, because they're really easy to pop and they just tend to sink, and then you don't get a third round of bubbles. There's only 2 proofs, there's no third bubbles, unfortunately. So all within or under 3 hours, let's say. So these are supposed to be quick. Yeah, don't leave them for hours and hours and hours in the bowl or on the tray in the oven. Don't forget about them. It happens all the time. I do it every other week.
If you kept that little bit of egg from the start, I just added a big pinch of salt. So again, it's not just for seasoning, it is to make things very, very loose and runny, which just means when we come to washing our buns, it's just going to glide on top and it's just not going to be like one big gloop of omelette on top of my buns. So this is just kind of more traditional with enriched dough. So because we added milk, eggs and butter, these are enriched. They are a little bit richer, a bit more delicious.
And butter is delicious, but it also makes a really nice soft crumb as well, and that's what the eggs are helping to do. Anything that's outside of the kind of water, salt, yeast and flour for ingredients is just adding to your dough. So yeah, just making it richer in some way. Butter is great, eggs are fantastic, that little bit of milk as well, a little bit sweet, a little bit creamy. And
what does the egg wash do?
And the egg wash is purely for beauty. Very, very vain.
Beauty and shine.
Absolutely gorgeous. also, if you have a bit of excess flour, say you're not used to rolling it and you've got a bit of flour on top, it's going to make it super shiny. It's going to stick our lovely poppy seeds on top as well. Going to make it like nice, shiny, golden colour. Is it essential? No, not really. You could also use a little bit of water will make it a little bit shiny. A little bit of milk will make it shiny. It's all for vanity, pure vanity.
We're being quite gentle, not stabbing it with my pastry brush. You could use your fingers, to be honest, if you don't have one of these.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying not to get it onto the tray so it doesn't just cook as an omelette, and it's a nice thin layer. So thin,
at this stage,
gentle.
It's not an egg bun. The egg wash is just for that nice shine. It's not about eating eggs on top of your bun.
And then a little bit of poppy seed. Again, from up high, will give you nice even distribution. You could do sesame seeds. You could do like a lovely mixed, what do you call it? Those mixed grainy seedy things. 5-seed blend.
5-seed blend.
But just any lovely topping would be good to add at this stage.
Really cute.
They do. I love sesame seeds.
Very burger bun.
You can also just do simple egg wash.
And again, these are going in a little bit early. They can take a little bit more time proving, but we're going to show you what they look like because they're going to bake at a really high oven. They're going to be nice and golden. Some might say too golden.
Oh yes, I think we might take out our burger buns as well. Not burger buns,
So
our bean burgers.
There's too many
our burger
bean products today. And again, these are looking lovely. Really, really nice and golden, crispy. And they have got a bit more structure this time around. They will also get firmer
sizzling
as they cool. I did flip them when they were quite soft, I'm sorry. They look lovely.
No, they'll be
and these
gorgeous.
are super tasty. This is a cookery school favourite, these burger buns.
Yeah, I made them recently on a class and people were like, I can't believe that.
Can't believe they're not meat. I can't believe it's not butter.
So this is a really nice way of introducing a recipe that doesn't have meat, that is a little bit more exciting, but also doesn't have lots of additives. A lot of the time, things like vegetarian products are often super processed to give them the same kind of taste and flavour of meat, which is quite a hard thing to do because meat has lots of protein, it's got lots of fat, often quite a lot of salt added to them if you think about things like sausages. So of course they're going to be delicious, so it's quite hard often to make a really good replica. But hopefully over the last however many days it's been, we've shown you lots of really, really nice vegetarian substitutions that aren't kind of skimping on flavour. They can be just as good, you just have to give them a little bit more attention to make sure they're still delicious. And I think we might bring on our special guest once again to try our delicious
chili sauce. You have to try your own products, start to finish. We talked about
and we'll do some seasoning.
All the best stuff from start to finish.
It's smelling
much better.
Good. Much better.
Yeah.
The peppery and sweety.
Sort of mellowed out a little bit.
And it can always cook for a little bit longer. This one's nice and jammy, but I already think it's going to need more sugar. It's a sweet chili sauce, not just a spicy chili sauce.
Taste test.
It's actually lost a lot of its sweetness while it's cooking, so I will...
Oh no, I'm sure I'm going to It was a little less sweet.
It was. It's lost all its sugar.
So I think more sugar, more salt, more
a little bit
everything,
more.
A little bit of everything,
But I think that's such a good way to do it, to start
less and build up.
And then
gradual,
build up,
yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to go like one more big pinch of salt, maybe like a teaspoon of sugar, maybe like, I don't know, a dash of vinegar. Yeah. But you can always do more. So don't add half a cup of vinegar to start.
You can go. I love vinegar so much. If it was up to me, there'd be a half bottle in there. But we're doing it for everyone. You can always add more things to your own personal cooking. That's why.
Such a beautiful.
So nice to make
about cooking at home with it by yourself is you can make it to your personal preference.
And how long can I keep this sauce in the?
At least a week. It's got a little bit of sugar, a little bit of vinegar. We're cooking off most of the water, which is what makes things spoil quite quickly. So it should last quite well in the fridge. And you can use this on just about everything. We've got a little bit of apple cider vinegar in here today because it's lovely and sweet and fruity coming from apples. But you could use a little bit of white wine vinegar, a bit of balsamic or something. Apple cider vinegar, I think, is the best.
And it's a bit more like neutral as well in terms of what it's going to add.
Such a lovely, like a dipping salt for the crudités that you're going to still.
Yes.
Yeah, once it's cooled down, delicious.
Yes,
it's cooled down,
Right, let's have another taste.
Oh.
Round two.
I'm so
Because you can taste something once and you get an idea of it, but you've got to keep on going until it's
This is
perfect.
the best job, the tasting job.
You stuck around for the good parts.
Yeah. More sugar. More.
And this is the best thing about...
What do you think?
I think more sugar, more vinegar, more salt.
No, I think maybe a pinch of salt, but then that's me because then...
We'll have to do that. Are you gonna,
I definitely
you're
think.
gonna hedge your bets still? Yeah. I'm always going to say
Yeah,
more.
no, I think more.
That's the pastry chef in me.
And to me, it's not particularly sour. It's not,
No,
not very sweet
No.
and sour, so I'm going to add a little bit more.
Oh, you know me. Sour. More than that, Millie. Come on.
You can always add more.
Ah.
Okay, maybe we'll add a little bit more.
I'm bullying you just like
Bullying
I
the
bullied my
bread, bullying me.
Love the peppery,
Very fresh.
fresh.
And I think
yeah,
sweet chili
yeah.
sauces are like, you always find them in the supermarkets, but they are full of a lot of sugar and a lot of thickeners and things, and this is just so quick. It took you about 5 minutes to
You
chop
know-
up everything up.
The other day I was looking at the bottles, not that I would buy, but then I could hardly see where the ingredients were because there were so many other things on the label.
Yeah.
And it just made me, it's quite scary because you really don't know what you're eating.
I'm
The
just,
gong,
I've
the
started
dinner gong has
orchestra in
started.
the back.
It's tasting better.
Ooh, wow.
Still not quite perfect. I mean, it might seem like an excessive amount of tasting that we
Okay.
do, but to make things taste really good, it doesn't often end up perfect on the first go. Apart from that one time we made that balsamic dressing and it was perfect.
It
on
was
the first
perfect on the first go. Rare. That's a rare
I
occurrence.
love it.
You love it? Okay.
I
We're
love
calling it Millie.
I think it needs a little more of everything. That's just because I tried this just last week, so I
That
remember
looks-
exactly how I liked
We're
it.
getting to
Dinner time.
yeah, the bread rolls, they don't need too long. We've got some lettuce to put on the top. Well, we're getting close to like a full dinner. Are you hungry?
Just looking at this and tasting
Starving.
this is making me hungry.
You're hungry now.
So yes.
You know, it's dinner time. It's dinner time. I'm going to add just
Oh
a
my
tiny bit more of
gosh.
everything
Okay.
because I want it to be like punchy. It's a condiment.
Oh my
It shouldn't
gosh.
be a shrinking violet. It should be really good. And if you feel like it needs more heat at this point, you could always add some dried chilies, another fresh chili, or even some chili oil or something.
Okay.
I'm just going to give these bread rolls a little bit of a
Ah,
rotate.
good,
And
good.
again,
Yeah.
just at the chance to bully them a little bit more. I think everyone's going to think I'm very mean after this.
Do you think, can I try this bit here?
Oh, absolutely. Go for it.
Ooh, this is too tempting.
I think that is good now. I'll pour this
Oh,
in
wow.
here. And you can see the gorgeous bright orange colour.
This is so good.
Yeah?
That is delicious. And I love the texture.
Meaty, but yeah. A
Satisfying.
cheat meat, I think.
I'm a vegetarian, so
Yeah,
this is
me
beautiful.
too. Well,
To be honest,
pescatarian,
it's
but
not-
very. I'm a
pescatarian.
lazy
I'm
vegetarian.
a pescatarian, but I prefer vegetarian. But
Me
this
too.
is beautiful. This is
It's also
really
got a lot more
delicious.
fibre in it, which is even better for you. It's got carrots and things, so
The protein is there, the fiber is there, the taste is there, everything is there, and all homemade. And you've just done it
in an hour.
in an hour.
Amazing. What's your go-to? I've got no time dinner.
Ooh, gosh. I look at what I have in the fridge.
Chuck it all in.
So I always have fresh ginger and garlic.
Oh yeah, that's
So fresh ginger,
must do.
fresh garlic, some coriander, whatever herbs I have. Toss. Enjoy. If I can make rice or carbs, then I would do that. Otherwise, it's mainly veggies, like a good stir fry.
Yeah, get it all in there. We talk about eating the rainbow all the time, and I think.
And I do a lot of beans, like being a thing. So, if I have chickpea tins or I could do a curry in a hurry,
Straight.
which is like
Curry in a
literally
hurry, I love that.
curry in a hurry in 10 minutes. So,
That's a cookbook
that's,
right there.
that's the maximum, like bing bang bosh. It's my
Yes,
favourite thing
I love
to
it.
say.
Yes.
That's my favourite British
Yeah.
saying, is bing bang bosh.
Bing
I
bang
think
bosh
it's the best
curry.
out of all of them.
Yeah.
Bing bang bosh curry. I do like curry in a hurry though, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. Okay, I'm going to take these bean burgers out so we can have a quick look. We'll see what they look like.
We're going to be doing curry
We're
and curry
closing
soon. We're actually
in.
doing a chickpea curry
Are you
very,
doing-
very
yeah.
soon.
Oh, you have to send us some pointers. Okay. Talking about what we're looking for in terms of cooking. So, as you can imagine, these
Nice,
are,
looking good.
if you can see them breaking apart a little bit, that's a good example. So,
Fantastic.
one, they're very hot. They need to be cooked for a little bit longer. This nice golden colour that it has here is what we're looking for all over. That breakage just means that it's a little bit underproofed. So I said we put them in a little bit early, we want them to double in size. If we prove these the second time around for maybe another 10 minutes or so, they wouldn't be breaking like that. So these ones will be a little bit tough on the inside or tougher, but they're still going to be super, super lovely. So don't stress, these are all going to be the most delicious things we've ever eaten because we cook them at home. And if you're doing bread start to finish, you already get the highly commended in terms of chef, if you ask me.
And they also freeze really well, and if you do let them stale for whatever reason, you don't gobble them up on the night, you can always blend them and make them into breadcrumbs, so you can make bean burgers.
Come full circle for your oh my gosh, your bean burgers. So for us, we've done patties.
Chili sauce.
Chili sauce. Well, to be honest, I recommend chili sauce. We've got the buns, all in an hour. These ones are going to go back in for another 5 minutes, and I'm going to cry a little bit because I've just choked a little bit of chili.
Oh gosh.
So sorry.
So sorry. Can you do this?
Yeah, of course. So thank you so much for joining us for another night. Please tag us on Instagram at Cookery School London, #Cook for Victory. We'd love to see all your amazing posts. Tell us how you're getting on, any feedback you have about the course so far. Maddie's back from her little chili choke fest.
I'm going to pop these in the oven.
And thank you for joining us for another night. That was our amazing Friday night special, and we'll see you again on...
Thank you so much. And check out Radical Kitchen. It's really cool. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.